The Jesuits, when they were in South America establishing their settlements, faced much adversity and difficulty. Many of them were killed. They ended up moving to the island of St. John the Baptist. We now know of this island as Puerto Rico, where the IRS headquarters resides. This is how Rome used the Jesuits to take over the Republic. They established the island of St. John the Baptist. In 1898, through the Spanish-American War, the Catholics end up getting Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was then used as a Trojan horse to infiltrate America, tying the District of Columbia to canon law through Puerto Rico, which has always been under canon law. So you now can blatantly see the connection between Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. For some reason, people never question this, though it's quite obvious. This system is all Latin Catholicism from Ignatius Loyola. This was legitimized into its full extent in 1933 through Franklin D. Roosevelt via the separation of church and state. The state is the mind or the lord of the land, and the church is the body or the land or the temple, and so the landlord is the mind and the body together. On paper, the birth certificate separates those two positions. It separates the masculine or the mind from the feminine /church /body. It is not done physically, it is done on paper. They figured out a way to separate the soul from man. They've separated church and state, so therefore they have separated the body from the mind. In 1933, they began dispensing birth certificates. Franklin D. Roosevelt's inaugural address adds more than enough validation and evidence of what this system is and how it operates after the separation of church and state was legitimized. In FDR's inaugural address on March 4th, 1933, he states in the very first sentence, "Today is a day of national consecration." He actually consecrated a nation. They created a new nation in 1933, a consecrated nation, meaning holy ground. They made a nation of holy ground. The holy ground that was established on paper, and it was the separation of church and state. They've created a deed. They've created a deed to that holy ground. The holy ground is your body. The deed is the birth certificate. So now, they have a way to have the land of your soul, which is your physical body, known as the temple or the house of the holy, and they've created a nation. The nation itself is made up only of the deeded land, or the deeds known as birth certificates of the soulless afterbirth material. The land of the nation itself being used for that consecrated nation is our actual biological physical bodies. This is confusing because the afterbirth is a piece of us. Remember, the Knights of Malta of the Vatican established all of the hospitals, and when the pilgrims came, they were welcoming new Christian pilgrims to those hospitals. The birth certificated afterbirth material is initiated immediately into the Catholic cult. So every single afterbirth certificated person in the world is Roman Catholic. This does not mean us as our physical body that we are walking around in is Catholic. It means the afterbirth and the character representing the afterbirth is. This is why the Roman Catholic Church rules over that consecrated holy ground nation, and FDR was surrounded by Catholic cardinals during his address. The consecrated nation is not our nation. The consecrated nation referred to in FDR's speech is the Roman Catholic's nation. See Black's Law 5th edition definition for the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church, the juristic personality of the Roman Catholic Church, with the right to sue and to take and hold property, has been recognized by all systems of European law from the 4th century. It was formally recognized between Spain and the papacy by Spanish laws from the beginning of the settlement in the Indies, also by our treaty with Spain in 1898, whereby its property rights were solemnly safeguarded. Most people, when they hear the words the Roman Catholic Church, begin to envision a large cathedral or a church building in Rome. However, according to legal terms, the Roman Catholic Church is not an actual building, but a juristic personality. It says Roman Catholic Church, the juristic personality of. It begins the definition of the Roman Catholic Church with the juristic personality of the Roman Catholic Church, comma. So the Roman Catholic Church is not a physical structure, it's a juristic personality. The church itself is a juristic personality. It's made up of the birth certificated persons, which are juristic personalities. That's what the church is. It's a house of cards. The birth certificated person is a part of the lunar aspect. The Western Anno Domini calendar is called the Western calendar for a reason. It's because the sun sets in the west. In other words, the birth certificated person only lives by the light of the moon, the sunset. The birth certificated person is a lunar cult character. It only exists in the light of the moon when the sun sets below the horizon. The Western calendar is for the world of the dead, AD, after death. The Julian or Anno Mundi calendar is the calendar of the sunrise. The Gregorian calendar is the calendar of the sunset, so it's about darkness and death. It's the underworld. It's the black market. The judge can call you a lunatic because the birth certificated person is a lunatic. Born to the light of the moon, never to see the light of day. Everybody is living in the world of the dead like a zombie. We're living through a dead purgatory-based character. It's the beast, and actual dirt and land is under cemetery law. Consecrated ground means church ground. When you look up church ground in Black's Law 5th edition, it says cemetery. So the entire consecrated nation is a cemetery. All the birth certificates are tombstones. In the Western calendar, these afterbirth characters are born to the underworld, and the church ground is the consecrated nation. The consecrated nation is a cemetery. It's all run by Department of State under Parks and Recreation. Bureau of Land Management manages all of the cemeteries, and from there you can begin to look into the laws for artifacts to yet again create another analogy within yet another functioning aspect of this situation. In the movie The Exorcist, at the very beginning, it's explaining this process of this construct of calendars and birth certificates. In the first scene, the Jesuit priest is called to a 4,000-year-old Iraqi dig site where they found a medallion-like artifact. In this 4,000-year-old hole in the ground, they pull out this medallion with a picture of the mother and daughter in the movie. The medallion was only 50 years old. They pulled a 50-year-old artifact out of a 4,000-year-old dig site. This is a great analogy of these two different timelines where the first middle last is born to the Gregorian calendar of Pope Gregory from 1582. The Western calendar says it's 2023. If you use the Hebrew/Eastern calendar or the Anno Mundi calendar, it's the year 5783. This is a difference of 3,760 years, like the difference between the 50-year-old medallion and the 4,000-year-old dig site. When we use that character, it's like going back in time and living with the Christians in Rome, where they were crucified. The concept of Jesus, the concept of the Christ, is the idea of the present moment. I am. I am denotes the here and now, right now. In fact, the word grace means presence. In other words, here and now. So to be I am, or to have the grace of God or life, you have to be present in the here and now. The whole idea of I am is here and now. If I live through a character born to a timeline, I am lost in history, stuck or frozen in his story, history. If I choose the grace of God or life, I choose the I am or the Christ. Then I am here and now as the firstborn son. If I choose the graven image, I would be choosing his story or history or the past and the character frozen in time in the past. And that is actually considered disgraceful. It's a disgrace. It's actually against all 10 commandments to live through that afterbirth character. The word grace means presence, and presence means here and now. And here and now is I am, which is the claim of the Christ. So if I don't have the Christ in me, if I'm not here now, then I need salvation. I need to go bend a knee to the church and ask forgiveness from the church in order to get here now through their character. The Roman Catholic Church takes that afterbirth record for themselves. In other words, they take the deed to that consecrated ground known as the House of the Holy. They take the deed for the land of your physical body and they keep it for themselves. So they're basically saying that you don't have a body. Think about this. What is a body without a spirit? It's a cadaver or a corpse. Now, what is a spirit without a body? It's a ghost. So they've created a place where they've divided spirit from man. Thus they are dealing with physical bodies with no spirit and spirits that have no bodies. There's your American spirit and the Holy Ghost. This country has nobody because no one has a claim to their physical body. So there is nobody here in America. It's all spirit. There is no body here. There's no body here. Because the church has taken the deed to the land of every body in America. Every body has a deed called the birth record, and the Roman Catholic Church has that deed in their possession. This is why the movie The Exorcist is about possession. The Roman Catholic Church possesses you through the deed that you believe applies to you. So again, as long as you believe that birth record is valid, then you are being possessed by the Roman Catholic Church. That's what possession is. As soon as you let go of your claim to that birth record character, you are no longer possessed.